Welcome to Statistics in Sports. Unit 1 is where we're going to cover some of the basics that you need to be successful in this course, and we're going to call that Chapter 0, where we're going to cover the basics. Our first lesson, Lesson 0.1, is on finding good sports data on the internet. Throughout this class, you're going to be required to look up data and statistics regarding different types of sports. And rather than using Google or Wikipedia, we're going to use some of the websites that many sports leagues have that are dedicated to housing data and statistics. The nice thing about these sites is that in many cases, you can break that data down according to like a game by game basis, sometimes even play by play. So throughout the course, as we're doing different investigations and looking up some information, we're going to expect that you are using these types of sites to find that data instead of using Wikipedia or Google. There are some sites specific for different sports listed in your note packets. We're going to look at a couple of those today, but there are some dedicated to baseball, football, basketball, hockey, soccer, golf, and tennis. And then other types of sports that are not as common, like swimming or lacrosse, do have some sites available, but they don't have as much data as these particular sites do. So we're going to start today by looking at the Major League Baseball site. So you're going to go to MLB.com. And there's some instructions in your notes about what to click on and where to go, but I'm going to kind of walk you through and show you some screenshots of what these sites look like to kind of help you navigate those sites. So you're going to go to MLB.com and you're going to click on Stats, and then you're going to change some of the drop-down menus to sort through some of the data that's on that site. Now, as I'm making this video, this is what the MLB site looks like. But if you are going to that site at a later date, it's going to probably look a little bit different. You should still see this bar at the top, though. And at the top, you'll notice it says Stats, and you're going to click on that. If you hover over it, you'll get some choices to drop down, but just go ahead and click on Stats. Once you do that, you're going to come to this page. And this page has got a lot of different drop-down menus that will allow you to kind of sort through the data and find exactly what you're looking for. One of the things you'll notice at the top is that you have kind of two tabs here where you can click on either player or team statistics. And the type of data that you're looking for will determine which one of those you want to use, but it typically defaults to player. You also can sort the data according to hitting or pitching. In the MLB, they tend to separate pitching as like a whole separate set of data and statistics. So it kind of defaults to hitting. One of the big drop downs that you can change is this one, which is the year, and it will default to the current season. This second drop-down menu here will allow you to choose either regular season, or you can change it to playoffs or World Series or All-Star game. This third drop-down defaults to the entire league, but you can also select either American League or National League. You can also pick just one specific team. So if you want to look at data just for the Detroit Tigers, you can do that. Another one that is good to look at is this one right here, which is select a split. And this is where you can separate and you can do home games, away games, day games, night games, and there's lots of different ways that you can separate your data. So in your notes, they ask you to change the year to 2015, which I did. We're going to select just the World Series. We want to look at American League only. So that way we're only looking at the American League team that played in the World Series that year. And we're looking specifically at night games. So I have all of those drop downs changed to what it indicates in your notes. One other thing that's kind of cool to look at is these little headings at the top of the columns. And there's a lot of things there that are abbreviated. So if you look at that, for example, and let's say you're not familiar with baseball and you're not sure what AB stands for, you can just hover your mouse over that and you'll get a little pop-up that will say at bats. You can also sort your data according to any column. So for example, if I click on that AB, what it's going to do is it's going to resort my data according to at bats. So you'll notice now that column is shaded because that's the one that we're using to sort the data. And the players from the American League team in the World Series that year, which was Kansas City, are now sorted according to who had the most at-bats. I'm just going to go back to what I had before, and this is sorting now according to this last column over here. but our batting averages are sorted in order as well. So the question is asking us who had the highest batting average, which we can now see is Christian Cologne. And his batting average is this column over here, which is the one that says AVG. And notice he has a perfect batting average of 1.00. So Christian Cologne is ranked first for batting averages, and his batting average that year was 1.00. Now, from that screen, you can click on any player's name and get some more specific information just for that player. So when I click on Christian Cologne's name, it takes me to this screen. And this gives me some information about when he was born, where he was picked in the draft, where he went to college, and then some career statistics. So over the course of his career, he's had 378 at-bats. Notice that he's only hit one home run, and this is his career batting average. So not just for that particular World Series, but for his entire career, his batting average is .249. So this screen will allow us to fill in the rest of the example, number 1. So his career batting average is .249. His total number of career home runs was 1, and he was drafted in the year 2010. In example number 2 in your notes, now we're going to look at the NFL site, and here the directions are telling us to click on standings. You'll notice that all of these sites are set up a little differently. So on the MLB site, we clicked on stats, but here we're going to click on standings. We're going to go back quite a ways. We're going to look at 2001. We're going to choose regular season, and then we're going to sort the results by league. So let's take a look at what the NFL site looks like. So again, as I'm recording this video, this is what the home screen looks like. And when you log in, it might look a little bit differently depending on, where in the season you're looking. But again, notice you've got this bar at the top, right? And we're going to click on standings this time, not stats. When you click on standings, it's going to take you to this screen. And again, you've got some drop-down menus, not as many as the MLB site, but you do have some that you can click on and use to sort your data. So you've got the year here, which we're going to change. And then you notice you also have this second one there, which says regular season, and you can change that to be, playoffs, and other things like that. Preseason, I think, is another option there. And then at the top here, you've got these different tabs where you can sort according to division, which is the way it defaults. You can do just by conference, or you can do the entire league. So we're going to change, click on that one, and then we're going to sort by league. So here we go. We've got it set up for 2001 regular season, and we're sorting by league. So notice there it's sorting according to the shaded column, which is win percentage. And just like on the MLB site, you can hover over any of these or resort according to these. So it's asking us about the Los Angeles Rams, right? And their overall win and loss record is right here. So we're going to look at that. It's also asking us about their record for home games. So notice that it kind of breaks down their records according to home and road games. And then also that gives you some information about just the conference over here and then the non-conference, right? So a lot of information on that page. So the team that was ranked first in the league overall was the St. Louis Rams. Their overall win and loss record was 14-2-0. And their win-loss record for home games was 6-2-0. Now we're going to click on the team name, and this part is a little bit difficult to navigate through. So we're going to click on stats, and then we're going to scroll down and go to all team stats, which is at the bottom of the page. Now, the strange thing about this is when you do that, it's going to default back to the current year. So even though we already selected 2001, we're going to have to change the year again. And then we're going to look for total offensive yards and then who led the team in rushing yards that year. All right, so this is what it looks like when you click on the Los Angeles Rams. And again, there's lots of information there that you can kind of look through. We want to click on stats. So we'll click on stats. And then you, now notice again, this says 2021. The reason it says 2021 is because that's the current season, right? It always goes back automatically to the current season, which is kind of one of the annoying things about this site. So we're going to click on all team stats down at the bottom. So I scrolled way down to click on all team stats. And then this is where you can change the drop down. So notice here it defaulted back to 2021 because the 2022 season hasn't started yet. So I'm going to change that to 2001. And then once I have that, then it's giving me some statistics for that year. And it's kind of breaking it down like at the top here, it shows you top offensive stats. So we've got passing, rushing, and receiving yards, and it just kind of gives you the top three. It also gives you some of the top defensive stats, which are tackles, sacks, and interceptions. One of the questions in your notes asks you about who was leading in rushing yards that year. So that's where we can get that information from. That's Marshall Faulk. And then if you scroll down even farther, it gives you some overall team statistics. And in your notes, it asks you for total offensive yards. And that's kind of located in the middle there. So notice for the Rams that season, it was 6,690. So we'll go back and fill those in. So 6,690 for total offensive yards. And then who led the team that year was Marshall Faulk with 1,382. The NFL site is a little bit more difficult to navigate than the MLB site, but you'll get a chance through the course of this unit and through some investigations to check out this one and also the NBA site as well. All right, your assignment for this lesson is to do the worksheet for section 0.1 in your assignment packet.